Welcome. We are here with my good friend and woman of God powerhouse, Laura Burkemper. This is Ministry and Movement Healing Out Loud podcast. So, welcome, Laura.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here with you.
I'm-
Good to see you again.
It's so nice to see you. Like, this is so exciting for me because we always talk about carving out the time to get together, and then we're never able to do it because I'm busy and you're even more busy. Like, all the things that you do, my goodness.
Well, let's just catch up on everything on air.
Right. That sounds great to me. So, Laura, you're CEO of SCALEBLAZER. You're a best-selling author. You're a former collegiate professor of 12 years, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Broadway show producer.
How about that?
Right? Speaker, entrepreneur, and like I said, powerful woman of God. So, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like, how did you accomplish all that, and what are you doing now?
Well, I give the glory to God first. And it's just the people you meet, and saying yes to opportunities. So my background has always been in strategy, brand, marketing, business development. And 2011 when I started my company. But I had worked for what I like to call three of the world's largest startups turned grown-ups.
Yeah.
When you think about Coca-Cola or McDonald's or Express Scripts here in town, each started with an idea. And so, like, for instance, in 1886, Coca-Cola sold 9 soft drinks for a nickel.
That's crazy.
And McDonald's, I know, isn't it? And now billions.
Yeah.
And same with McDonald's. It started with Ray Kroc selling 8 multi-mixer shake machines to the McDonald brothers. And now, again, billions are served with over 40,000 restaurants.
But why does the ice cream machine never work?
I can't answer that one, but I guess it's popular. But and then like Express Scripts here in town started with 5 employees. And then when I was there was 27,000. And then they got bought by Cigna. So there's over 100,000.
Wow.
And when I work now in entrepreneurship, helping turn startups into grown-ups, I like to say, everything starts with an idea. And just like those big companies, they all started with an idea. And so it's not always what you know, but who you know. So
Yeah.
surround yourself with some good people and watch it grow.
Wow. Yeah. Amen. Well, tell us a little bit about where you grew up. Are you from St. Louis, or did you transplant here? Okay, good. So what's the most important question? Where did you go to school?
Well,
Not that matters to me because I didn't go here, but
Go Tigers, Oakville High School.
Oakville. I love it.
And I stuck around. I went to University of Missouri, St. Louis.
Okay.
And to St. Louis U for grad school. And then ended up teaching there for 12 years.
Yeah, that's okay. So I know that you said that you taught there and obviously help students with marketing, but what exactly did you teach? Like, what was the name of the course or courses?
I taught 3 different courses. So the interesting thing was I started with corporate innovation. So how to get an idea up the flagpole within an organization. And so how to navigate the complexities of a large company. Then I moved into 2 years later, new venture feasibility. So if you think of Shark Tank, right?
Well, remind me, weren't you on Shark Tank?
I was not on Shark Tank, but
what did you do with Shark Tank? Because I saw some of your stories or posts or something. So what did you do with it?
Well, a lot of my life is like Shark Tank.
Oh, okay.
And so coming up though, just as of last week, I will be judging a pitch competition.
That's what I saw. That's
with
what I
Damon
saw.
John.
Okay.
So
Yep.
in Greenville, South Carolina.
So cool.
So we'll hear 10 pitches. There's 4 of us: Damon John, Mick Hunt, and also Lauren Covella. So the 4 of us will be judging these pitch competition.
That's very cool. Very cool. So you've been around so many successful people and you are successful. Like, what characteristics do you find that all these people have in common?
They're good humans.
Amen.
Right. Over the course of a lifetime, you run into this, that, the other. But what I try to surround myself is with good people doing good things.
Yeah.
And so, as my career has grown over time, how do you go from influence to impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
So picking and choosing things to work on, having my own business now since 2011 has, you try to take on new clients when you can, but the longer you're in business, you realize some things. So you pick and choose and try to look for people with same core values as you, and just surround yourself with good humans.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I was thinking about this the other day. Every successful person I know is a person of their word. You know, if they say that they're going to do something, they do it. So that's what I found to be true. In addition to all that, it's just, they're consistent humans too.
Yeah. There's a particular client of mine that whenever anyone wants to meet him, I always ask him if that's okay. And he always seems to accept, which is great. In fact, I just got a text this morning and said, oh, I met with your friend, and he's the person that I always say walks his talk more than anybody. I mean, from his faith to his fitness, to just how he lives his life. And it's consistent.
Yeah. No.
But it's aligned with his core values.
Yes. And so let's talk about your core values. So you obviously are a good human. We're friends. I love you.
Love you back.
But you are not only are you impacting lives for entrepreneurs, but you're back. So let's talk about what your newest project is with that.
Well, a couple different things. One, you don't know where life takes you. And sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, you just need to say yes to things. So I was at Top Golf in Chesterfield, and there was it was a charity event, and I got paired up with some different guys. And the normal question is, what's your name? What do you do? Mm-hmm. So I asked that of two of the guys that were in the bay that I was in, and one said, his name, and he said, I build Christian entrepreneurship universities. I said, wow, wow, what am I doing? I said, that's really specific. And tell me about that. And he's like, well, we've done it in Liberia, Uganda, Malawi, and we want to do it in Cape Town, South Africa.
Oh, wow.
And so I said, that's fantastic. I happen to be Christian, and I happen to teach entrepreneurship. Give me a call if I can be of help. Well, that call came. It turned into a couple Starbucks meetings, a couple Zooms with some South Africans. And so I would say that my faith journey has taken me from, here in town to 5,000, or let's see, how far is it? I think Africa is 5,449.3 miles from my house.
It's a long flight.
Yeah. Or 18.5-hour flight. Yeah. And so
you're going to be in South Africa.
Well, I've gone twice so far.
Okay.
So the first time I went, it's interesting. They're trying to build a Christian entrepreneurship university because after high school, there are no Christian universities.
Oh, wow.
You'd have to leave your country, your community, your culture to get that same.
Yeah.
And that resonated with me. And I thought, wow, for a young person at 18 years old to leave their country to do that. What if they wanted to stay?
Yeah.
So I got behind the mission. And what we ended up doing is evangelizing through the business community there.
Okay.
So what we looked at was, how can we talk about what we'd like to build, get groundswell behind it, because you need the community first. You need students, obviously, and you need entrepreneurs that understand that journey. And so we went over, I spoke with 21 companies. I was there for a month. It was October of 2024. And we ran a Shark Tank at the end for students.
Very cool.
And so there were 22 students from the township, which is the lower economic area. And these students were sponges. And we ran 3 days. So we started with, what idea do you have? And then how do you wrap it into a little bit more of a business, format? And then they pitched. And so it was, you could see the excitement because they had a process to get their idea moving forward. And so in the end, it's 3 days. But what I hope accomplished was more of a lifetime of, now I understand how to get my idea from a go, concept to a go. I know the steps to take. I have hope and I have the desire to move something forward. So we're really just teaching an entrepreneurial mindset.
I love it. But, and it's great that it started with your journey in faith. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Like, when did you first start believing? Did you grow up in a Christian household? Have you been baptized? Just tell me all about, how you got here.
Things.
All the things.
All the above. So I feel fortunate to have been brought up in a Christian household. So I've been Catholic my entire life. We went to church each week. I went to public school, so I went to Sunday school on Mondays.
Okay.
and so I, thank God for my parents who instilled those values, because over a lifetime, it's every day. It's the way I think about things. I feel like it's working with a safety net. Your highs are high, but your lows don't sink so low.
Yeah.
You have a place to go. You have comfort. And so I'm so blessed and so grateful to have that.
Yes. And that's one of the things I try to instill with all of the listeners that listen to the podcast, or anyone that I interact with on social media, is that they're not alone ever.
Right.
And I think so many people, even myself, at times you get overwhelmed and you feel alone, and you just have to remember that you're never, ever, ever alone. And just knowing that, calms you,
It does.
it calms you. So
I think that, some of the things you can do, from exercise, right? Get out in nature. All those things are good. Take a yoga class. You can watch Oprah.
Yeah, right. Whatever it is that calms you.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
But having faith has allowed it's just been something steadfast, something that I haven't talked a lot about with people. If somebody asks, I'm willing.
Yeah.
But I'm not always out there just, I kind of believe to meet people where they are.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And just allow maybe the light to shine.
Yeah.
And then them become curious.
Yeah. And they get drawn to your light.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the whole point of being a Christian, is showing people through your actions how to love on one another like Jesus does.
Exactly.
And did, and then they're drawn to that. So tell me a little bit. I know you just mentioned a few, and I know I've talked at length about like what you can do to help cope with mental health or struggles or stress, any of those things. But you personally, like, what do you do to help when you're feeling stressed or when you're feeling overwhelmed?
It always starts with a prayer.
Okay.
I usually start with gratitude first, and, thank God for what I have, but I also thank God for what I don't.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, sometimes, that saying where you put all your problems in the center of a table and everybody else does, a lot of times you take your own back.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of difficulties out there.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes you get overwhelmed with your own myopic viewpoint of, the world is crumbling around me.
Yeah.
And having a more outward focus has helped me. So thankful for what I have, also for what I don't.
Yeah.
And so that's helped keep me grounded.
Yeah, no, same. I always get reminded. I didn't get to go last year due to my schedule and different things. But, I've been in the nonprofit space for about 8 years now, and I've traveled a lot to Guatemala to help families, and specifically single moms. But every time I go, and it's not like it leaves my mind or my memories, what they have to endure and what things that I already take for granted. I took Milena when she was probably 12 or 11. I took her with me to Guatemala because I wanted her to see and appreciate her life, and then also give back and help others, so that she had a worldly view of where she was at and could be thankful for things, because everyone needs that lesson in gratitude. And I get to go back again. So I get to go now March 19th through the 24th. I know I invited you on that trip kind of last minute, but eventually we will get to come together and we will get there. And I want to go to South Africa with you, so tell me when you're going there again.
I will. I don't have a trip planned. I've gone
Okay.
twice in the past year.
So the flight is 18 hours?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you break it down by movies, it's about 8 movies.
Yeah, the 8 movies. So let's get 8 movies lined up, and then I'll be ready to go. I'll just have to get up and walk around a little bit, because every time I'm on a flight longer than like 6 hours, my bottom falls asleep, like literally, and I have to get up. It's so uncomfortable. Yeah, it's like your joints just get so stiff. So, did they let you walk around when you were?
Yeah,
you're okay. Yeah. So, do you ever see those people like doing lunges on the plane? or squats.
See
Try-
those people. I am that person.
You are the person. Okay, very cool. So yeah, tell me a little bit about your fitness journey, because
Yeah.
you are a healthy woman. Every time I see you, you're just glowing, you know, from within with the love that you have to share. But then also you're a healthy person. You can tell your skin radiates, you know, you just have a healthy look. So tell me, what are some tips that you've applied to your life to stay healthy mentally and physically?
Well, even on a trip like I was in Africa, we climbed Table Mountain and we climbed Lion's Head. So you have to just make it part of your everyday life. It becomes a non-negotiable.
Yep.
And so I have no excuses. I have an elliptical that's 50 feet from my bed. If I can't make it,
Right.
there's something else bigger going wrong.
Right.
But so that and some free weights.
Yep.
But you just have to make it a part of your lifestyle. Like I said, a non-negotiable. Because I liken being an entrepreneur to being an athlete.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
so many parallels. I mean, you both have competition that you're trying to rise above.
Mhm.
You both have to have enough sleep to make mentally clear decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stamina. There's so many parallels there.
Yeah.
And so I think all of those things combined, from your fitness journey to what you put in your body,
Yep.
affects you.
Absolutely.
And one time I was having what I would call just, I'll call it a little PTSD, a little bit.
Have that a lot.
Just like something went wrong a long time ago, and, something jogs your memory or brings it back up. So it was a little more than not. So I actually went to a doctor, and I'll tell you what happened. So they said, "Oh, understood. Just a little anxiety.
Yep.
If you wanted to take something." So they prescribed something. So come back in a month. We'll see how you are. So I came back, and she said, "So you feeling better?" I said, "Much better." And she said, "You took the medicine?" I said, "No, I actually didn't."
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh, well, why not?" And I said, "Well, I realized what was going on was between two ears."
Yep.
And the anxiousness, I hadn't done my part yet.
Yeah.
Which is eating healthy and exercising. So
Yeah.
she goes, "What did you do?" I said, "Well, I started exercising daily and working that
Yep.
anxiety out."
Yep. Amen.
And
Amen.
she's like, she was amazed, for one, because that doesn't always happen.
No.
But
most people don't have the discipline to do that, or the know-withal to like recognize what's going on in their own body.
It was recognizing. And so sometimes it's like taking a step back and looking in the mirror and going, what am I not doing?
Right.
Before I rely on something else.
Yep.
And so these fixes, I think, are there for a reason.
Yeah.
Eating properly, exercising, they really make a difference.
Huge.
And certainly sleep is where your body repairs itself.
Huge. So it's so funny. It's like you listened to my podcast last week. Because you're hitting on all the points that we talked about. I talked about mental health specifically, and all the things, because I've always struggled with anxiety, and I didn't even recognize that that's what I had until I was probably in my late 30s, early 40s. And
I
then
was new to it. I hadn't had that, so I'm like, what is happening?
Right.
Why is this happening?
Why is
but
this
your body has that? I'll call it muscle memory.
Yep.
Even though it's mental.
Yes. And and that was another thing that we talked about, was like the devil attacks your mind first, and when you have the fears and the doubts and the worries and the stresses, those are not tools of God. Those are tools of Satan coming at your mind. And so you have to recognize that first. And then what can you do, like you just said, yourself, to help with that? Because obviously there are some cases you need medicine, but most cases you can identify and help what you're doing and solve it yourself.
And sometimes it's hard when you're in it, right?
Absolutely.
To even have that clarity.
Yeah.
And so those are things that help. And then, always look up. It's interesting. This past year, I've met more people of faith than I have in such a long time.
Yeah.
That they lead and then I join in. Like I said, I'm not usually the overt one.
Yeah.
But then I do join in. And so I was on a phone call with a person I met once over dinner. And he's a young guy working in financial services on the East Coast. And he told me his routine. He was just very open and transparent. He's like, "I'm looking for more clients. Here's what I do. What do you do? How do you, handle things?" And so he told me that he says a certain prayer before each phone call. And he's like, And so that prayer, I
Oh,
actually
you have
wrote
it?
it down.
Yes.
It's so simple.
Yes. Let's share.
It's John 3:30. He must increase, I must decrease. So it's as simple as that. And what it really means, it's not that you diminish yourself. It's about putting God first
Absolutely.
and
Letting
coming
him lead.
around to serving others.
Yep.
And so he says that every single time. He goes, I can't tell you how well it works.
Say it one more time.
He must increase, I must decrease.
He must increase,
And
I
it's
must
John
decrease.
3:30. So it's not about shrinking as a person, it's about surrendering control over outcomes.
Control. Yes. Yes.
Because we always try to control things.
Absolutely.
Like it's got to go this way or do that.
Absolutely.
Outcomes and reputation. And so he says decrease is often pruning, not punishment.
Okay.
And pruning looks a lot like loss before it looks like growth.
Amen. Amen.
And so
yeah.
it takes a minute.
Yeah, it does take a minute because
Yeah.
when you're in the thick of it and God is removing things from your life for your protection, you don't understand that that is protection.
Right.
It's not a loss, it's a gain because God will always give you back double of what you've lost. Always. You just have to be patient.
There was a guy on LinkedIn who reached out to me, and this was 2 years ago. And he had lost his business, he said, during COVID, not due to COVID. It just unfortunately was the timing. 7 years in business. And I said, oh, how are you doing now? It's only been, 6 months. He goes, oh, I'm doing great. And I was like, how so? Tell me more. And he said, well, when I realized it didn't happen to me, it happened for me.
Oh, yep.
It just turned and flipped the script, and it gave him a forward look as opposed to a hindsight.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I've used that and shared that with others so many times that because we get so insightful and so in the past that unless you can turn it around and say, sometimes things happen for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. And that's, sheesh, I've had that happen a lot in my life. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And it's interesting. You talk about, I used to be that person that, my grandpa was a pastor for 77 years and I always have been a believer, but I've always struggled with living a life for God. I've always believed, but I've also been a sinner and still am a sinner. But, I was really scared for many, many years to live my life out loud for God. And it's almost, shame comes from the devil, not from God. God never wants you to feel shameful, but it was almost like I felt shameful for not living for him out loud. And, now I'm finally at a place where I do live out loud for him. And I know you've probably seen it in my journey. And
I admire it. I
Thank
haven't
you.
just seen it. I admire it. And it inspires me to be more so.
I
Because
love
I'm a
it.
little bit more shy about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not about my faith, but just being
Exactly who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you've inspired me to be more of that. So
I love
thank you.
it. I love it. You're welcome. And I love that God has given me the courage to do that because when we are more authentically who we were created to be, we give others permission to do the same, and I have to remember that every time I feel scared to do something, it's like, no, I was created for this. And this is what God made me to do. And if I don't do it, then others won't recognize that who they are meant to be,
Well, I've seen you just flourish in every aspect since then. And so it goes hand in hand. And it has taken me a minute to realize that because I see it in others, to see it myself.
I love it.
So I appreciate that you and other people are kind of leading with their faith
Yeah.
because it inspires me to do so too.
I love it. Well, and I knew when I met you, that we didn't even talk about faith or our walk with God or anything, but I knew, again, you have a light and that light beams from you. And that's the light of the Lord, and you're a kind human and I've not ever met anyone to date, maybe you have, that is kind like that is not a believer. Just that peacefulness around who they are as a person and that generosity to give to others like that. I haven't met that without it going hand in hand, with someone that's a believer. So, I recognize that in you and, we became quick friends. We don't get to hang out very often, but we're going to fix that. And I'm so glad that our schedules align, that you were able to come on today and we were able to talk. a little bit about all the things, but before we go though, I want to know a little bit about what you consume in a day, because we talk a lot about faith and fitness, and we also talk about food, which I'm a foodie. So talk to me. What's your favorite thing? What are your favorite things to eat?
Well, gosh, everything,
Yeah,
anything,
yeah, you're like me.
yeah. So it's just mainly in moderation is how
Yeah.
I kind of look
Okay.
at things.
Yeah.
I happen to like veggies more than maybe the average bear. I don't know, but
That's good though.
So it's kind of always been a part of my life.
Yeah.
But
my daughter, not so much.
Yeah, I know.
She does not like vegetables.
Yeah, fruits, veggies, those are faves. But it's important to have protein for your muscles, for your strength.
Yep. How much protein do you think you consume a day? Like, do you track your food at all?
No, it's more, by the fist.
Okay, good. Yeah. No, that's good. Because this is about a 4-ounce portion. So yeah.
Yeah. So I look at it more as moderation and balance.
Okay.
And so, you look at what your plate looks like.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've never been a big dessert fan, so
I'm
a little bit more of a bite than
a whole piece. And if I have a bite, I'm gonna have the whole piece. So I love my sweet treats. So that's something that.
See, you're sweet. I'm savory. So
together we're the perfect. Right?
Yeah, we'll call it savory. Yeah.
Together we're the perfect meal. Yeah. So sweets have always been a nemesis for me.
Yeah.
It was something I had to conquer, especially like during my preps and stuff. But no, it's interesting. Like everyone leads such a different life and everyone has different goals. And like for me, I have to have a certain amount of protein each day. And I go by how I feel for sure. But I also know the metrics I have to hit for how much I weigh in order to keep the muscle that I've gained, right? For the average person walking around, you don't necessarily have to hit those same metrics,
I'm not in competitive training
exactly
and world competitions like you. So
exactly, but, and that's the point.
Take a lesson out of your book.
Absolutely, I'll help you.
Faith and fitness.
Oh no, I think as long as you are a healthy woman and you know what your body needs to make you feel good, and that is 100% the goal, and that's what I talk to my health coaching clients about. It's what I talk to my competition clients about. Now, obviously, when you compete, there's a season of your life that looks a little different than the rest of your year, but like for me personally, my competition season is coming up. It's from April to August. And during that time, I just eat a little cleaner, and I might eat a little less volume than I normally do. But like outside of that, I live like an 80-20 rule where 80% of the time I'm eating clean and in volume. And then 20% of the time, I am eating whatever I want. So if that means I have a whole dessert, then I have a whole dessert.
Nothing wrong with
right. I just have to balance it out,
Right.
and as long as I give myself kind of a pendulum swing of as long as I don't go over, because I know for my body, like what weight, and it's different for everyone, because I'm 5'3", but I carry my weight differently than another person because I've been competing for 5 years now. And I have a lot of muscle. So like I can gain 15 to 20 pounds in my off season, but I still carry it well. And then whenever I get in season and I go to do a cut, then that's when I get that shredded look that's not sustainable all year long for me, for my body. Because
I'm always amazed. I'm like, boy, what is she doing in a day to get there?
And it's really nothing crazy. It's the same thing I do in my off season. I really pay attention to my portions. I'm weighing my food. And I just talked to a health coaching client today. Actually, she's doing her first natural body competition in June, but she wasn't weighing her food. Like I gave her nutrition plan and I gave her the metrics, but I was like, are you weighing your food? And she was like, I said, girl, this is a science experiment. We have to weigh our food, and that's, obviously we can track by our hand or a fist, and that's good for if you're not doing a competition, but like just healthy lifestyle, that works perfect. But like when you go to do a competition, it's a science experiment. And so you have to have variables that are controls and then other variables, but those control variables can't change because you've got to use then that to determine what modifications you need for the next week. It's very scientific. And I don't think people quite understand, like how regimented it is, but like literally you're weighing everything because you have to, because like if you have too many carbs in one day or not enough protein, that affects your energy output or your calorie expenditure, and then that offsets whether you're on track to lose what's healthy 1 to 2 pounds a week. And that's a normal fat loss phase. A healthy fat loss phase is 1 to 2 pounds a week.
Hang on while I take some notes.
Right. No, and we can talk whatever you want to know. I'm here for it. But, it's funny. It's like most people don't know that, to be in a fat loss phase and to keep your muscle, you take your body weight times 10. That's your maintenance caloric intake. To be in a slight deficit, that's where you're losing. So you want to, like, say if you weigh 150 pounds, your caloric intake for the day would be 1,500 calories if you're just wanting to maintain and you're not like working out or anything. Say you're just doing your steps per day, right? But if you want to be, you have to be in a slight deficit then to lean out and keep your protein at 40% of those calories so that you can maintain your muscle while you're stripping that fat away.
It's like consistency unerringly at all touch points. So
Yeah.
that's something in fitness, but I also say it in brand.
Yeah.
To build a brand, you have to have those things.
And it's so
be fit for competition, you have to have those things.
Yeah.
Too.
And it's so funny that you're talking about the parallels in business and then also fitness. And then we've talked about it with music too, because we were talking about math and music. Anyway, it's funny. It's like the things that make you, and that's kind of why I asked you, what are some characteristics of people that you've met that are successful? Because I feel like, they are regimented,
Yeah, definitely.
they have a plan, and they execute that plan, and it's a non-negotiable, like you said, because I use the term non-negotiable all the time, because I look at fitness like it's my job, because partly it is now, but I mean, but even before it became my job, I looked at it like it was my job. Like I looked at it as I don't have a choice because this is for my health, and my health is first because that affects every other part of my life.
Absolutely.
So, I made it a non-negotiable, and look what happened.
Well, you're the entrepreneur, fitness entrepreneur, world competition winner, and author. I mean, keep going, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, and you
can play every instrument. So.
Yeah, pretty much. I had to learn how to play every instrument. I'm not saying I'm good at every instrument. Now, one of the ones that was the coolest to learn was the harp, though. We'll have to. I'll give you a harp lesson sometime. Right. Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, I have a piano.
So a harp is just a vertical piano. Like if you open up a piano and see all the strings, a harp is just you put it on its side and it's vertical, and that's so your strings.
You can come over and help me turn my.
Absolutely, we'll just flip it up. I'll do strongman, flip it over on the side, and we'll play.
The difference between you and me, you can do it. So I can read music and I can play the piano, but not well. So I have a Dislavere system that actually makes it a player.
That's piano. Right. You told me that. That's amazing. So that you can
have to take one lesson.
You never have to take a lesson. You can just say, "Play me this song."
Yeah. Or invite you over.
Or invite me over, yeah. And I'll play what I know. But normally, like I used to have a whole 2 or 3 songs like in my memory bank that I could play from memory. And then now it's just like I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, not a whole song. So I need to.
That's me with the guitar. I got 3 songs.
Yeah, what are your 3 songs on the guitar?
Well, of course you got to play "Smoke on the Water."
Yep.
You start with.
I used to teach my kids that one. Yeah.
And then Barracuda. And then Word Up.
Word Up.
So
which one? Oh, Word Up.
Cameo.
Okay. Okay.
Old school. But that's how long it's been since I picked up the guitar.
Well, what kind of music do you listen to? Let me ask you that question real quick.
Top 40 hip hop. Upbeat.
Okay.
Typically.
Do you ever listen to Christian music?
So last night I was invited to a Joy
FM
event.
Yep.
And so a friend of mine's really into that. And so I said yes.
Amazing. Well, if you ever need exposure to new artists, I have I'll send it to you, but it's my 90 Days Known playlist to go with the book. And it has all of my favorite Christian artists on there. And I keep adding to it. I mean, each day has a different song, but there's like well over probably 140 songs on there by now. And there's only supposed to be 90, but I keep adding to it because I'm like, these people need to know about this artist and that artist. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. And it's been such a blessing to see you and talk with you and spend time with you. So this again is my friend Laura Burkemper. She is the CEO of SCALEBLAZER. So where can they reach you if they want to reach out or follow or see what you're up to?
On all the social medias.
Okay.
So you can reach me there, Laura Burkemper.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Laura.
Thanks.